once a year for the last 15 or 18 years, I would say. He comes once a year on Tisha B'Av. He has the most sensational, what is it called? Computer presentation? What is it called? A computer presentation? PowerPoint presentation of the Beit HaMikdash and its Kelim. Usually we don't learn Torah on Tisha B'Av, but in the afternoon, matters of the Beit HaMikdash we learn. And he has a fantastic PowerPoint presentation, comes on Tisha B'Av. He used to live here near. I think now he moved to Shiloh. He's a big expert on Beit HaMikdash matters. We're going to learn here regarding the table, the Shulchan. And some of you said yesterday the Shulchan has on it 2 words. Lechem hapanim, the showbread. Okay? Just the purpose of the table, I want to share with you what's not written in the Chumash, but from Chazal, that Rabbi Makover, of course his first name is Menachem, it's a very special name as you know, it's the name of the Mashiach. The purpose of the table. He writes the following, and we dealt with this right now before, the material side of the Jewish people. The perfection of material blessing can be achieved only when it's drawn from a source of holiness. Material blessing, when it's related to the source that's coming from God, you know that God is giving you parnasa, that'll be the perfection of material blessing. So when we have a Beit HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, or we have the Mishkan, the tabernacle, the table, the Shulchan serves as a conduit, okay, to channel the material blessing. I don't know if you can see, but there's a spiritual pipeline that connects between heaven and Yerushalayim, or especially the Temple Mount, and especially when we have a Beit HaMikdash. The fact that there are going to be good Jaffa oranges in Jaffa and in Chadera is because there's a material pipeline of blessing. You can't see it. It's transparent. And there God is bringing this bracha. Bracha, shoresh. The shoresh, the root of the letters bracha. Bet, Resh, and Chaf. And we've said at this table several times, the numerical value of the 3 letters. Bet is, Resh is, and Chaf is 20. All are multiples, are more than 1. So by definition, a bracha, a blessing, is affluence, is plenty. Do you see? Bet, Resh, Chaf. Bet, Resh, Chaf. So the table serves as a conduit to channel this material blessing. The Ibn Ezra on the word lechem apanim, which appears in which pasuk in our section, gentlemen? I found it. Thank you. 30. Very good. V'natata ala shulchan lechem panim lefanai tamid. Why is the lefanai there? The bread that is before. So the Ibn Ezra says it means that's the bread placed before Hashem. Some of you said Kodesh, it's placed in the Kodesh, the holy, the central area. In front of the Kodesh, the most holy place called? So the Kodesh is like before Hashem. Hashem is in, as if, in its greatest frequency, holiness, concentrate, is in the Holy of Holies. So if God's presence is rested behind it on the Aron, therefore it's called Lifanai, before me. Now the commandment to construct the Shulchan is found next to the commandment to construct the Aron. And I'm asking why? Why is this first after the Aron? Remember, the Aron represents what? The light. The light of what? Not Benjamin Franklin, with all due respect. The light of what?
Torah.
Of the Torah. The Torah, the Luchot, the two Luchot are inside the Aron. So the spiritual light, which is going to be revealed through the Holy Ark, it will take a material form. You hear this? The spiritual light will take a material form in the lower world by means of the table. A further hint can be found in the location of the table. What stood across the Shulchan on the other side of the holy? Who remembers?
The menorah.
Very good, the menorah. I'm walking now into the Kodesh. As if I'm a Kohen, right? Just remember. I'm walking east or west? Who remembers? Who studied this?
North.
You. I'm walking west.
West?
Yeah, towards the Kotel. From the east, Mount Olive. I'm towards the Kotel. The place towards the Kotel is the Kodesh HaKodeshim. Is that clear to all of us? Yeah. Yes, thank you. So I'm walking west. To my right and to my left are which two, Kalim? To the right is the north, the Shulchan. To the left is Menorah. Chazal say the following. Harotzeh lachkim yadrim. Harotzeh la'ashir yatzpin. If you want to become wise, go to the south, go to Yerushalayim. So the menorah, which represents the light, the wisdom of Torah, is on the left, on the south side. If you want to be wealthy, affluent, go to the north. That'll go to the right. So that's maybe my understanding that we always go to the right first. So maybe the Shulchan is on the right when we go into the Kodesh. Okay? The Rashbam explains though, when you light the candles of the menorah, how many?
7.
I'm waiting for someone to say Chanukiah 8. No one's going to say that? Okay. Very good. I have to beat you, get up early in the morning. What time did you get up this morning? So early, huh? 5:25? Early. I can't compete with you. I only got up at 5:29. When you light the candles, it says in Bamidbar 8, let the 7 candles shine across from the face of the menorah. Do you hear this? The candles shine towards the table. Again, the menorah in the south, it shined towards the table. What do we learn from here? That the material blessing represented by the Shulchan was sustained by the spiritual light of the menorah. Now, regarding the Lechem Apanim, okay, when would it be replaced? When would it be taken off of the Shulchan? The oral Torah says to us, and it's also written in Vayikra, I think also, that the fresh breads every Shabbat, freshly baked, were put on the Shulchan, as the verse states in Vayikra 24, on Shabbat day, they shall arrange before Hashem always from Bnei Yisrael as an eternal covenant. That's the source in Vayikra 23. So as we're putting on the new breads, the first set is removed. And the second set is immediately arranged in its place because the table is not allowed to remain even for one moment. It says it in the Torah. So it was an interesting technique, not juggling, but as they're putting on, they're taking off. So always it was there. It was always necessary for there always to be a lechem apanim on the table. As it says, lechem panim before me always. Where's that word always in our section? Quickly find it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tamid. Guys are really fast today. So the flow of the blessing, Michal Aryeh, constantly descended through the table, and from there to Eretz Yisrael. And from Eretz Yisrael to the world. The blessing will go from Yerushalayim to the world. Okay, now I want to talk about the design of the table. As you said, it's made out of 8 shita. As you see here, the table was made of a rectangular board resting on 4 legs. Anyone need a pair of glasses to see from a distance? You can see? Okay. We said that its height from the bottom to its feet to the top of the board was 1.5 amot cubits. On top of the board, we're going to learn that there were racks called snifim, where the loaves were placed. Okay, let me just already show you the design of the racks. These racks, the snifim, the fresh breads were placed on it on Shabbat. As they're placing on, the old ones are being taken out and allocated to the Kohanim working in the shift in the Beit HaMikdash. Okay? They would get a shtickle piece of bread, as you know what I'm saying. Now, let's keep on going. What was coating the boards and the legs? V'tzipito tozav. It's royal. Zahav tahor. Thank you. Zahav tahor. Now I want to talk about the frame and the crown of the table. At 12:05, you're telling me when it's 12:05. You. Okay. Now regarding the frame and the crown, According to the opinion that the frame was above the board rested directly on its legs. But the frame then fastened to the sides of the boards, extending above it to help support the loaves. So this frame is going to help support all these, how should we call it, the snifim, all these poles. We have vertical poles, and we're going to see, as we saw, there are horizontal poles, as you saw here. And the loaf, which will be designed in a certain way, will be placed on each one, and it's open to the air. It's going to stay there 8 days, right? It's going to stay for a full 8 days. Shabbos, Yom Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, Revi, Chamishi, Shishi, and then next Shabbos, it's almost 8 full days. And the bread, miraculously, it will not mold. The fact that it's open to the air helps it, but miraculously, and every week it happened, it stayed fresh and it stayed warm.
But they didn't eat it, the Kohanim?
Only the 8 days later. They ate the old lechem panim, fresh and warm. Can you do that in your oven? You can't. I thought you were not metaphysical. I thought you're limited according to the laws of gravity and all these physics. Okay. Now, so you see here the fray that's protruding past the sides of the boards. And here you see, for instance, Zer Zahav. Zer is a crown. Since it's related to royalty, the loftiness of God, we have the crown here for beauty. There's even an opinion that there were 2 crowns, according to the Chizkuni, one of the Rishonim. He cites a verse in Parashat Vayakel, which implies that there was 1 crown attached to the table itself and another attached to the frame. I want to now talk about the rings on the table. Hebrew, the rings we saw it already on the Aron. Taba'ot, with an aleph or ayin. Ayin. And what will be placed in the taba'ot? And in Hebrew? Not makot. I'll hit you, makot. Who remembers the word? Badim. These are the badim. And it's obviously going to be there for the purpose of what? To transport the Shulchan when the Jewish people are going to be traveling in the desert. Okay? In the Beit HaMikdash, we're not going to have this apparently. And also there's not going to be a mitzvah like we saw in the Aron. What commandment did we see regarding the badim in the Holy Ark? Lo yasuru mimenu. You're not allowed to remove them. We don't see this regarding the Shulchan. There's no commandment that you're not allowed to remove the badim. So yes, the 2 poles were used to carry the table. I think it has to be a miracle because with the amount of gold on there, there's no way. I mean, I don't have my notes. I should have brought it. Sometimes I try to summarize on his presentation, and he tells us approximately what's the weight.
Over a ton, no?
Yeah, it's over a ton. There's no way these poles are not going to crack. So it's something miraculous. So to the ark, with so much gold there, the weight is so great. It's metaphysical. There's, according to the laws of nature, there's no way the poles are not going to crack or be strong enough to pick this up. He doesn't get into his book, but he has interesting statistics, really amazing. Now, the Torah doesn't describe the length or the thickness of the badim. There's a commentary called the Panim Yafot. He writes that there were 1 tefach. Would you please show us your good-looking tefach? Is this for assault or battery? Is he attempting? You want to arrest this person? You just show it. I thought you were lifting up a fist to me. I thought. Okay, you're absolutely right. Show it to everyone. Okay, this is a tefach. So look, mine is tiny and his is very large. We need someone mediocre. So it's approximately how many centimeters, 1 tefach?
10 centimeters.
Okay. For me, it's 8. For him, it's 10. It's approximately, so they say the thickness, thank you, Michal Aryeh, of the badim was about 1 tefach, but it's not stated in the Chumash whatsoever. The poles, okay, were drawn through the rings, okay, when the tables were carried. And we talked about the contrast as opposed to the Shulchan. Now, the poles of the table, okay, if you open up verse 29, you see the various accessories for the Shulchan. Number one, Vasita Ka'arotav. Today in modern day Hebrew, we have the word Ka'ara. I think a Ka'ara is like a bowl. Is it not? Yeah. So the Ka'ara are what we call in Hebrew the pans for baking. Tavniot, we call that in Hebrew. Or maybe the molds, the things that shape the breads. That's the first one. Okay, the exact shapes of the loaves is a subject of debate in the Gemara, Menachem 94. According to Rabbi Yochanan, they were shaped like a boat. Like the bottom of the boat. Is it true, engineering-wise, that the bottom of the boat is very pointy at the bottom? What, from an engineering point of view, why is that? It has to be, it helps it float, as far as balancing apparently is, right? Okay, so according to Rabbi Yochanan, they were shaped like boats, meaning they came to a point at the bottom. Here's the point to the bottom. According to Rabbi Hanina, they were shaped like flat bottom boxes with open sides. Okay, the Rambam seems to follow the latter opinion. So those are the ka'arot. What are the kapot? What are the kapot? What is a kaf? Spoons. So here we don't have a picture of it, but do you know that the kaf had to hold a bisamim? Is it stated here? No, it's not. What's going to be put on the table? Let me just find it here. 1 second, sir. The spoons, yes. Right. The spoons were used to hold the incense offering. It was left on the table together with the bread. Listen to this. There were bisamim, spices, inside the spoon, put on the shulchan with the new bread. Only next week, when those bisamim are burnt, are offered, only then is the bread permissible to be distributed to the Kohanim. Okay? What other accessories do we have? We said we have, after the karot and the kapot, we have ksotav. Those are the shelves, the ksotav. This is referring to the tube-shaped bars that are used as shelves to hold the bread. These are the ksotav. The ksotav. Whereas the menakiot are forks. They don't have a picture of the menakiot, they're forks, in order to grab the bread. See the word menakiot? How do you say forks in Hebrew? Mazlegot. Okay? So those are those. Gentlemen, there were 2 sets of racks, each holding a stack. Okay? Here's a stack and here's a stack, each holding 6 breads. Okay, the height of the racks depending on the height of the loaves. According to all opinions, the loaves were 10 tfachim long. That's about 80 centimeters to 100 centimeters long, the length of the bread. They were laid lengthwise across the width of the table. We'll see it here. Okay, they were laid lengthwise according to the width of the table, and you see it's like open. Open to the air. That is the bread after it's taken out of its mold. What else can we share over here? Can so we said the shelves are the tubes that the loaves rested on. And we talked about 2 sets of racks, each holding a stack of 6 loaves. In other words, there are 12 lechem apanim. No, it's not going to be given out to the tribes. It's going to be given to who? To the Kohanim, and the Kohanim only. Okay, is that clear to us? The Gemara questions the calculation of the height, noting that there must have been some space between the loaves to allow circulation of air. Okay? And thus prevent the loaves from rotting. The Gemara answers that the bars between the loaves were pressed into the loaves themselves, allowing a small but sufficient flow of air to enter without adding significantly to the total height of the stacks. The Rambam holds this halachically, that the bars did indeed separate the loaves. What else do we want to share? The following. Yes. Okay. What else do we want to say here? So, what I wanted to share with you is the Rashbam regarding Lechem Panim. The Rashbam states, Lefi Pshuto, you don't have it in front of you, the Rashbam, the grandson of Rashi, Lechem Haro'oi Lefnei Sarim. Why is it called Lechem Panim? Because you would deliver it in front of you to people that are the elite, the ministers, and therefore it's worthy for ministers, or Lechem Ne'eh, good looking. Now, do you know what it's made out of? Is it made out of rice flour, the breads? If you open up Vayikra Kaf Daled, you see that it's made out of solet. What is solet? And where do we see solet in the Torah as well? In all the mincha offerings, the word mincha can mean either a meal offering, not from the vegetative world, or it could mean mincha time, right? When is the beginning of mincha time? First, let's say before. How do we calculate our halachic day? Each hour is called a halachic hour. In Hebrew, they're called sha'ot zmaniyot. One more time.
Zmaniyot.
Hours of time, hours of halacha. How do we calculate our hours of halacha? Yes, Eitan?
How much light we have on the day?
Light?
Like sunlight.
Be a little more specific. We calculate from
Shachar, the sun.
from dawn until the stars come out, or from the other calculations when the sun rises, the zricha, until the sunset. And we divide, let's say in the winter time, it's a short day, there are only, let's say, 11 hours. So each halachic hour may be 50 whatever minutes. Whereas in the summertime, when the sun comes up earlier and it goes down later, we have, let's say, 13 halachic hours. And that'll be divided into 12 equal parts. Mincha time, if we say it's a time, is right after noon. When we're looking at noontime, the sun is directly above us. As the Gemara explains in the 6th chapter in Masechet Pesachim, the sun is just above us. There's no shade, neither to the east nor to the west. Another half an hour of calculation of halachic time is the beginning of the afternoon for halachic sacrificing. So 6.5 hours of the day is the beginning of afternoon for bringing afternoon offerings. Let's say the Tamid offering. Every offering, animal offering in the Beit HaMikdash is accompanied by a right. It's nisuch hayayin and mincha. We have a wine libation and a meal offering. The meal offering, so too, the bread is made out of solet. As it says many times in the Torah, solet is fine flour, very fine, the best flour, and of course it's from chita, it's from wheat. Okay, so there we're told what measure to take in Vayikra 24, made out of solet, and it's for the elite and it's for the special. And as we learned before, the blessing comes down to the Beit HaMikdash, to the world through the Shulchan. Any questions on this before we go to the menorah? Yes, sir.
I wonder where are these showbreads being made?
In the Beit HaMikdash area, absolutely. We have an area for storing the flour. We have an area for baking.
So there's oven.
Sure, of course. Of course, going to be ovens, of course. Absolutely, very good. Okay, we don't take it to the Angel's Bakery and bake and bring it back. It's all handled and done by Kohanim who are in a state of purification, of Tahara. Binyamin.
Yes.
what does it symbolize?
The table, what does it symbolize? Material, physical blessing for the nation. Affluence. Judaism does not disdain or look down negatively at wealth, physical, material wealth. We believe that wealth is a kli, a vessel, to do good things with it. To do mitzvot, to do charity, to build a family, and so on and so forth. The problem is, wealth can often act as a strong influence to keep us down, to calculate investments and other investments and be bothered with this day and night and gives us headaches and this and that. We have to know how much to occupy ourselves and how much not. We have to know what are our talents, what are not our talents. If I'm going to be just ascertaining more and more properties and more physical matters, I'm going to be towed down all day with it. That's not the objective of life. Our objective of life is serving God. So even if I have to work 8 or 9 or 10 hours a day, but if I can still free myself for time to pray 3 prayers a day in the Beit Knesset and learn Chavrut and learn Torah and go to Shiurim and do Chesed and charity, that's the most important thing. But we still need material blessing. Not everyone can sit in a kollel and study 8 or 10 or 12 or 13 hours a day. We need doctors. We need engineers. We need street cleaners. We need wood choppers. We need desalination plants. We need technologies. We need a judicial committee in the Knesset to straighten out things, God willing, B'ezrat Hashem. So therefore, affluence. Opposite is the menorah. As the Torah says in verse 31, Vasita minorat zahav tohor. Notice it's a new section. You have a pei, the letter pei. The entire line will be skipped, as you see here in my Chumash. We have a new section. We're talking now about the menorah. And it's made from a miksha. We saw that before, meaning a block of gold. Te'aseh menorah shall be made, yirecha, the base, vikana, the branches, giviyah, the cups, kaftoreh, the buttons, on it, ufracha, and the flowers, mimenayu. So let's just briefly look now at the golden menorah. There are different understandings, but certainly the menorah is giving us light. What's the matter? The Kohanim need, now I understand everything. We light the menorah in the morning or evening?
In the evening.
It says it literally in the Torah. Okay, where? Ba'alotcha. Bamidbar, chapter 12, correct? Me'erev ad boker. Me'erev ad boker. The menorah will be lit. Is it in order for the Kohanim to know what they're doing inside the Beit HaMikdash? Answer yes or no.
No.
How many korbanot do we bring in the evening time?
No.
Nothing. There's no activity. Shh. So sein still. Quiet. There's no activities. I smell something burning. Do you? Don't you? They're still burning all the limbs and fats they put on the mizbeach that didn't have enough time during the day. It's going to be burning at night. You smell it, don't you? Okay, I thought so. So there's no work in the night. So why are we lighting a menorah? Because he told us. What is the objective of the menorah? Certainly, Rav Makover writes here that the menorah symbolizes the spiritual light of the Torah. The Torah will shine forth from the Beit HaMikdash or the Mishkan to illuminate the land of Israel and illuminate the world. How many kanim? Lamed Bet 32. How many branches coming out of the menorah? It says
6.
Shisha kanim yotzim mitzidah. 6 branches will come out from its sides. What do you mean? Let's keep on reading 32. Shelosha kinei menorah. 3 branches. Mitzidah. Why am I mitzidah? What's the matter? I have a problem pronouncing the word mitzidah. There's a nekuda inside the hay. It's reflexive. Mitzidah miatzad shelah. Who is shelah here? The menorah is feminine. Excellent. Shlosha kinei menorah. By the way, the feminine side of Purim, or the feminism side of Purim, will be the subject today of Rabbi Dr. Reuven Feierman. Shlosha kinei menorah mitzidah ha'echad, Ushlosha kinei menorah 32 mitzida hasheni. And then it says, I'm skipping to 34. Uva menorah arba'a givim. And my question to you, you with the kippah, what is the menorah? There are 4 cups on the menorah. What is the menorah? Answer, the menorah is the middle branch. When the Torah says menorah, it's talking about the middle branch. Here, this is the yarech, the base of the menorah, yarecha. Yarech, by the way, is thigh. Yarechayim. Okay? Not the shok. The shok is the calf. What do you call it in English? What's it called? The calf? The pulki, right? The shok. The shok. The yarech is the thigh. Thigh is strength. So here is the yarech, and this is the menorah. Shlosha kanim, 3 branches come out of the menorah with a chisel and hammer from a block of gold, miksha, and 3 coming out of this side. So, gentlemen, so how many branches altogether? 6 plus 1 is 7 branches of menorah. They were all hammered out of one single block of gold. They were not crafted separately and then welded together. They're not welded together. What does this represent? The unity of this entire object. As if the unity of creation too is all one. The menorah parallels the tree of life, Rabbi Makover writes, based on Chazal, which rectifies Adam's sin of tasting from the tree of knowledge. Like a tree, the menorah has branches. You can't answer all the questions here. The menorah has branches, okay? Just like, and it has bulbs, and it has flowers, right? We lit, has bulbs and flowers. Adam's sin created contention and disunity to the world, which brought harsh judgment, like death, okay? So therefore, gold is often used for judgment, used to know. So the judgment can be rescinded in the merit of unity, and that's represented by the unified golden menorah. Gentlemen, so therefore, if we just say that the menorah technically refers to the central staff, okay, where the 6 branches diverge out, 3 to this side, 3 to the other side. Some say the central staff, the middle one, like represents Shabbat, where the 6 branches metaphorically represent the weekdays. Just like Shabbat illuminates the week, okay? So too the central candle of the menorah would shed light upon the 6 branches. It brings light to the 6 branches and it emanates from this. Yes. Now the dimensions and the components of the menorah. There are 3 basic sections to the menorah based upon the first pasuk. Yarech, the base, the menorah, the central staff, and the branches that emerge from the central staff. Atop of each of the branches, what's on top here? Can you find the word in the text? What's on top? I'm waiting for all of you to search in the section of the menorah. What was on top of all these decorations? The cups and the flowers. What's on top? What's the key word? I found it. Which verse? No. What will be on top? The answer is in verse 37. In Lamed Zayin, 37. Neirot. You thought, you thought that the word ner always means a candle, a wax candle. Well, we're learning here, it does not mean that. What is a ner? A kli, a vessel, that you can put inside what? Oil, shemen, and inside the shemen you can put a wick, a ptila, and then light it. So you see here, gentlemen, the 3 major sections of the menorah are the base, the yarech, the bottom, which stands on it, the central staff from which emerge 3 to the right, 3 to the left, and Atop of it were 7 neirot. Okay? These neirot were made separately from the menorah. They were not part of the menorah, but they were permanently placed atop it according to the Rambam. Now, all these beautiful decorations, the cups, the flowers, the bulbs, the menorah was adorned to make it beautiful looking. That's what God wants it. There are 42 decorations all together with the flowers, the cups, and the bulbs. Our sages teach us how tall was the menorah. 18 tfachim. Quickly. 18 times 10, it's 180 centimeters, 1 meter 80. So according to that, the height here is only 1 meter 80. How tall are you?
182.
I'm looking for someone who's 180. Come on, couldn't be smaller?
Take your shoes off.
Take your shoes off, that's a good one. Okay. Ken. According to some of the commentators, the base of the menorah was shaped like a wide box. Like a wide box. The branches of the menorah. The thickness of the branches is not stated in the text. According to the Shulchan Gibor, one of the great Rishonim, there were at least 2 finger breadths, approximately 4 centimeters thick. And now you're looking at this and you're saying, what's going on? What? Okay. Now, the Torah does not state were the branches straight or the branches curved. Okay. The Gemara also doesn't state whether the branches were straight or curved. It seems to imply, Rabbi Machon Meir writes, that the shape of the branches was not essential. Some Rishonim, like Rashi, Ibn Ezra, imply that they were straight. The Lubavitcher Rabbi, he understood that this was also the Rambam's opinion, as seems evident, from the Rambam's own diagram. We have a diagram of the Rambam, of the Mishkan in his commentary to the Mishnah, Masechet Menachem, chapter 3. If you open up Likutei Sichot, or as they say, Likutei Sichos, whatever you want to say that way, you can find out that it apparently, that it was also his opinion that it was not straight, but tilted to the side. However, the Rambam himself writes in his commentary that the purpose of his diagram was to display the number of decorations in their position to better see it. So it's hard really to conclude what it is.
We have evidence.
We don't have evidence. It
Yeah,
could.
the Titus Gate.
Oh, okay. So the Romans. So we have sculptures. We have sculptures, right? Good question. That is a good point. Where is it today? It's there? It's in the...
They melted it down.
They melted it down? Some historians say that they melted it down to take the gold?
They took out the
Well, we don't know. I think we have to send out the leading Israeli unit. Would you please close this? You can close it now.